Welcome back to another replay analysis for our patrons on the ASAP Weekly Rocket League podcast, Patreon. I change this intro every time, and I'm going to keep doing that. But so welcome back. Today we have another replay from GooglyWooglyWoo. He's always a pleasure to work with. He's so descriptive. The message he sent me for this month's replay was super long. Googly, if you're watching this, I never actually answered, and I only noticed that when I am doing this replay a couple days before the end of February. So I do apologize. But it was basically a long story as to how when he was on PS4, he had actually gotten into Champ 2, was pretty comfortable there, and on PC, he has been actually hard stuck in Platinum, which has been really interesting. And I truthfully have not heard of as hard a fall. And he even said himself, coming into PC, it's awesome. The frame rate, the graphics, the frames, like I said already, in general is just a much smoother and better experience. But I will say, and a great example of this was when I was playing CRL. One of my teammates was on PS4, and when he switched to he was arguably the best on the team. Now, definitely the best of the three of us. But at the time, when he playing on PC, he was like even struggling to get to GC for his first couple months, and then it just clicked. He just popped off. He really pulled together with the frames, but he really did struggle early. So do not think that you're alone in this. And if you are still avidly listening to the podcast, the most recent 2 episodes might be great for you, because we do talk quite a bit about playing to your rank or above your rank, and a lot about playing below your rank. And there, at least I think I added some pretty valuable information there. Ask me any questions if you have them following this analysis. But regardless, this intro has been far too long. This one's going to be slightly different, so I'm going to do about 20-ish, hopefully 20-25 minutes on this replay, and then I'll do the last 5 or so talking about a calculated.gg profile for the game, because he really wanted to learn about breaking down those stats and seeing what this looks like. And so I haven't looked at the page yet. I opened it quickly and just hit it behind the game, and so we'll see if my predictions of like what I talk about and stuff match up. So I personally use ball chasing instead of calculated, but Calculated is a gorgeous site. They do pull some really interesting stats as well, and they actually track things, to my knowledge, like dribbles and flicks and things like that as well, which is pretty cool. Which at least most recently when I was using when I was using ball chasing, they didn't. So for anyone who doesn't know where they are, I'll quickly show you. But they're really cool tools, and I hope you folks can learn a little bit in the process. So let's hop on into this replay, shall we? So, GooglyWooglyWoo, like I said he's struggling, not super happy with where he's at right now, and we start right away with a double commit. And so this is where that positioning is going to be important. So you choose to cheat on this kickoff, not against that at all. Really surprising that right goes, left goes is pretty standard, but nonetheless, this ball almost inherently is always going to pop out to the opposite side of where both kickoffs are coming from. As soon as this happens, you already know you have a player to the back left, so when you look at this play, you're turning this way is going to serve no purpose but to meet your player, and you're going to have a little chaos zone here. What I want you doing every single time is, because you obviously don't get a full pad, getting the pad and rotating back in with these pads, or even doing a bit of a wider one and rotating back in, and then you can get another pad there and then come back into this one. So that is what I want you doing in this plays, and we're going to watch from this perspective so you can kind of see what I'm talking about with this chaos zone here. And so when you turn back in, almost following my line exactly, that's exactly what we get. We get a massive chaos zone in this area, and right away we get a guy took a kickoff, isn't relevant. This player is going back, and this player hasn't even challenged yet. So we currently have literally all of you guys on your team in this short little circle here, and the ball completely free to do whatever they want. Now, I hate saying this on YouTube, but Biggest Dickus was going to be able to catch this and work this out, but then you come in and jump. And again, if we watch this, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You jump, and all we do is give that ball to Jika to hit back the other way. We're setting up the other team. Instantly, like I said, I want you cycling into net, and the reason I want you doing that cycle is because if we just go, actually, here, let me get rid of this, and we'll go slightly back. If we go slightly back here, and right now, this ball lands, Big Dickus catches and works it out. You have rotated like this, like I had said. Now we have 2 guys working their way out. our kickoff man getting the full boost to then cycle in and be the number 3, and then the current chaos that is unfolding in their back end with absolutely no challenges happening whatsoever. So you're setting up a rotation. This is a very, very standard way to start a game, but all of that breaks down instantly when you choose to not rotate to your back post and cut off the man that's there. You need to use the information you have. You knew that this guy was taking kickoff. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but regardless, you saw this guy was taking kickoff. You knew he was going back for his boost, so you turning this way completely counters everything that should be standard with rotations. So try your best to keep that in mind. We continue. And then, like I said, you rush into this touch and then take it away from biggest ticket. I don't even think he was going to jump until you had jumped as well, and he was just trying to get the touch. Good attempt on the other hit. Really good recovery, very smooth. A good demo take. I'm into it. I like it. I'm not super crazy about any type of backwards plays, but I'm into that attempt. And see, there you go. See, that's a great back post rotation. I will say, and this is just something small, we talked a bit about this last time in your last review. Remember your boost lanes here so you don't have to go all the way back, right? Because you guys do currently have possession. So what I'm seeing here is that you have the potential to either lane hop or just take the football route. So you can either drive through here, and then all the way back to net. And then the best part about taking this route is that you can cut in whenever you want off whatever boost you need to be part of that play. You could even cut here for all we know if it's more relevant to do so. So keep that in mind. Or you could cut in and grab a boost, and stay tight. So you're staying in this neutral zone to stay relevant. But instead, what we end up seeing, and we'll watch it again from this perspective, you flip all the way down, and you're just not part of the play. See how you're just kind of casually flipping around. And actually, you guys get scored on because then you end up inching too far forward. So you had mentioned that you were really feeling like your positioning as a whack, and I'm definitely seeing that for sure. So then you inch forward right away, and you broke my cardinal rule as a coach. When to flip. Right now is not the time to flip because we don't know where the ball is going. Do we see the trajectory currently? Yeah, 100%, man. Like, we know exactly where the ball is going, but we don't know who's going to be coming. Is Biggest Dickus looking for a pass going to try and meet this? Is the goalie going to come out and boom this? Is it just going to fall and wait? You jumping here is arguably the worst thing you can do because you're already almost supersonic. When you flip, you're definitely going to be, and meaning you're going to land like out here, give or take. So if, let's say, Corpse wins this ball and booms this, which is what ends up happening, you are in no position to make a save. So anytime you flip, it has to be, so a flip takes about 1.5 seconds to complete. You need to know that for, I would say, about 2.5 seconds, so you have a second to recover, you need to know exactly where that ball is going to go for that 2.5 seconds is the only time you're ever allowed to flip. And that's a huge part that you need to kind of get in as muscle memory now, because the flip here is what burns you. And let's watch it again. You flip, and now by the time you land, you have absolutely no time to recover and get back, and there's no expectation of you saying, well, I thought someone was back, because you can see Bigger Dickus, you can see he's not there, and you can see that he was the one who just hit the ball, so you need to be that third man and be back for that. So really, really try to keep an eye on that. That's incredibly important for the future of your game here. And now I can see there's just no comms, unfortunately. Good job not going for that. I could kind of tell you were inching for it. And then that definitely should not have been your teammate's ball. Absolutely no right to come to that. And I will be very honest, man, I'm not crazy about this shot. At a higher in the champ area, like both one of these two guys is going to save a shot from there, right? Like that, it's very, very incredibly rare that a shot like this would go in. All of that being said, this was a boomer. That was a fantastic air roll to get under that ball, give it some loft, and I think you actually caught them because of it. I don't think they expected a big shot coming, and you caught them beautifully with a fantastic shot. So really, really good shot, good turn on the ball and everything, but that comes back to that intentionality of I just don't think you need to, right? What's stopping you from catching here and starting a flick or starting a play, right? You already have one player deep. You already can set up some type of actually good play. So keep that in mind in the future, but I'm not that mad at that one. Despite you guys scoring, this does come back to what we were just talking about. So you take the kickoff. You see that the boost is already taken. You have so many more options to stay relevant than to go back for that boost. What I want to see you doing every single time is coming through, getting these pads, and then working your way out just by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you can. And the best part is you can choose when you come to this one. You can go this way, or right down the middle. You're already gonna be at almost 90 boost, and that's more than enough for anything you need to do in this game. And all it took was you staying relevant. And again, the reason why you may be thinking, you're like, oh, I'm already going back to the back wall over here, so why would I take pads? The reason is because you're able to cut when necessary. So if you're going here and you see that the ball is coming right back towards you, great, you can cut back in. You're coming here and you see and you keep bringing your way down, you see the ball coming again, you can cut, and so on. That's a huge part of what that looks like and how this is supposed to work. And I really need you to keep that in mind so that you can stay relevant when working your way down. Let's keep watching. But like we said, your team already scores, so you're all good. Jeez, the communication. Try some quick chats if you can, because I know you are solo queuing. So, like, I think truthfully, you just got to start throwing some quick chats into the mix here. Okay, let's talk a bit about this. So, I understand what you're doing, but it's just something you got to kind of keep in mind when you're rotating to the back post and there's a bit of an awkward play in front of you. We have, if we come in here, one, you inch a little far forward. In my opinion, you're quite far forward, and Big Dickus just completely disregards your back post rotation. So we can already see there's a bit of there, and he just throws himself into the corner. So you can see absolute chaos. He's in a horrible position, and I'm sure that's probably where you're like, that's what's in your head. You're like, oh my god, this is horrible. You should never be flat foot. So what I want from you here is, instead of awkwardly waiting, I instead want you, let me get a little good angle here. I want you driving into the net and then looping around and waiting on and off in this area. What I tend to do is I'll do actually your little back and forth that you're doing. I'll actually do something similar just so I can keep momentum as I'm going, and I'll do kind of longer strokes of back and forth as I'm going, as well as this just prolongs your momentum as you come forward. And then more often than not, if this ends up turning into chaos and just sits in the corner, I'll actually do a little drift backwards and then come in, and then I'll start in and outing or whatever, because what I'm doing is I'm just keeping my car moving at all times and keeping it as much as I can facing in, more often than not, this direction if possible, so that I'm able to make the play that I need to, right? So I can come forward and do whatever I need to do as I'm going along. And that's a huge part of being a good back post, because when you see here, what you end up doing is you really lean forward and then you're flat foot. So if this ball pops, you have a very awkward job. And so I like that you start doing this, like that is important. But again, you're still so far forward that it might not be super advantageous. And at this point, Googly, you just got to start breaking out. And so you end up actually just getting bullied, unfortunately. But your team has cut you off so many times now that you're just going to have to start with a breakout. So as soon as he wins this, you already know that Big Dickus is working his way back. So I would say you start inching up, but keeping an eye on him, seeing what he does. And so let's keep seeing what he does here. So he turns back out, and so that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So you keep your momentum by moving out. As soon as he turns back out, it's a quick wide turn to then come back in, and then as soon as this ball comes around, now the nice part is you're avoiding the bumps from core, and you can hop back up and get that touch, right? So it's all about staying moving, because you sitting still, you're just a living target for core to come and absolutely bully you out of the net, and this should have been a very, very easy scoring opportunity for them. I don't mind that double commit. It was you were gonna get the touch anyways. Teammate just had a better one. This is a good way to start. And we're talking a bit about this in the podcast. This is a good way to start playing your teammates. You know, as soon as the ball goes over your head, you should know by now that your teammates are chasing, right? Like, they are a chasey team. So in my head, what I would be doing here is I would just simply be driving into my net and doing that little loop again and getting out, because we already know Big Dickus is going to come around flying, right? And Baxter's probably going to drive past you in this time. So you're just playing safer, right? And you're playing smarter here. I don't like that you go to this ball, because unless you have comms, it's very hard to know, because Big Dickus in his head, he's like, oh, I have speed, so I'm going to pass. But you're like, oh, this is technically my ball, so I need to go. So there's going to be that miscommunication regardless if you have the best teammates in the world or the worst. So I almost would recommend just taking the safer play, especially since there's already been quite a bit of chaos in this play. Just keeping that in mind. And again, we have a very unintentional touch, right? You come under this ball and you just hit it, right? There's no purpose to it. There's no meaning. The ball instantly comes back around the way. Fedorov has a wide open net and actually somehow misses, but then Jaika is able to clean her up. And is that directly your fault? Of course not. But you could have kept that closer, right? And been a little more relevant with that play. So something just to keep in mind for you. Much better catch. Obviously, I wish it was a little closer to you, but... And then same thing, this you wouldn't have got here anyways, but as soon as you land, you got to be heading right back for your net, right? Like you got to, that big wave dash and everything, I would have much rather you drift up on the wall and then wave dash off and then go back to net, and then going through these pad lanes and so on and coming back. Like that's what your route should look like every time, because you need to just build that muscle memory, right? It's not, would you have saved this? Of course not. But it's about building that muscle memory in every single game you play so that you're never, ever, ever losing that. But unfortunately, your team, again, just with a double commit, I think I'm seeing a little tilt just in the team in general. There's a lot of double commits. So this is where you as a player, as a higher level player than the players you're playing with, you need to start assessing and being like, okay, I'm going to be the safe guy now and start taking the plays that I can. See this time that you're wasting. There's absolutely no point to everything you're doing here. So you come, you hit your ball, they hit it away right away. You go to straight cam, so you already know that you're not going for it. Why instantly are you not turning into this boost route and taking yourself downfield and going all the way around and back to net, or even if you want to cut it tighter, go right back to net? Like that should be your route every time, but instead we see you go for this boost, not there. Go across the other one, choose not to. And then you don't get any pads until you get that full one, and then choose to turn back in on the ball and keep on the play. Did you get a good hit afterwards? Of course, but I'm just seeing I feel like you're not playing intentionally. Like I'm not seeing what's your end goal, right? Other than just hit ball, score goal. Like that is truthfully what I'm seeing. But just based on how you talk to me, you sound like a really, really intelligent player. So I think a big part for you right now needs to be able to kind of equip that into your game as well, right? Good back post, great job. Unfortunate miss. Oh, sad you didn't get that boost grab, but... And again, there's a lot of double commits just from your team in general, unfortunately. But this is where, like I said, you really got to start assessing being the safe player. Like, it feels like you're avoiding pads, right? Like, I'm sure... So watch this closely. First pad you got right there, and that entire recovery, that's the first pad you got, and that just cannot be the case. And playing at any level plat or higher, this is how you're going to break down teams, is being able to always keep boost, and this needs to be a huge focus for your game moving forward. Good pass back, really good pass back. But why? Right? Intentional. He clearly is going for this ball. I know. You know that he's not going for this ball. Sorry, that he is going for this ball. That you have no right to go for this ball. You made a great play. Let's use it now. Instead of going up for it, cycle in behind him. Get in behind him and get ready for the backboard. Then you can boom it on net. Do whatever you need to do. Be part of the play. Don't take over the play. Right? You're getting up for this ball. In what world are you, even if that ball is clean, in what world are you actually getting to that ball? Right? You need to be keeping an eye on that at all times, and this is truthfully what I think I'm seeing is breaking you down right now. Great breakout, but you're leading pretty far, I will say. He's not even, Baxter isn't even at the ball yet, and you're already trying to get supersonic ahead of him. Match his space on the field, right? Be where you need to be. That's an impossible pass to get across to you, right? Like let's go look at his perspective here. He sees this ball. He can hit this with all his might on this side of the ball right here, and it's still only going to go to like here. You are way over off screen right now. So you're going to have to come under and then tip it on. Like, it's a very, very difficult touch. You want to be closer and tighter so that he sees you, right? Be part of the play and don't run it. That's what I'm going to keep saying to you. And so you can see right away, that's the touch he gets. And now you have to get under this ball and get some impossible tap back on net, right? Good pass. Unfortunately, nothing. I would obviously at this point in the game, I don't know if that was a pass attempt or not. But I think you were shooting truthfully. But you obviously want to get those shots on net, and I don't think I'd be trusting passes at this point just because you guys have not been playing super well together. Try wave dashes here instead. Just another note. These kind of flips never help because you end up just floating, right? If you whereas you wave dash, you'd be instantly on the ground for a diagonal flip like you just did there. You can be supersonic much quicker. What's the point, right? What are we doing? What's the plan here? Your teammates are breaking out. You're wave dashing across, not hitting boosts, not getting anything, and now you're out in no man's land with nothing, right? Like, that is what I'm continuously seeing is there's no intentional plays, right? I'm not seeing the thought in your game right now. You have 19 boost. You go get a full boost. And then you rush a ball again. You know Baxter's is going to hit that. He's right next to it. Let him hit it. Hit the brakes right now. You see he's already boosting. Start moving to the right. 2 of the orange players are deep. Start moving out this way so you can be part of the play, not forcing it, right? Not owning the play. Part of it. You rush into it. Now there's a backboard read that Baxter's has to try to read himself when you actually could have been part of that play instead. What are we aerialing to, right? Where are you hitting this ball? What's the point? Catch and play. Catch and play. What's the point, right? That's all I'm seeing right now. It feels like you don't care. Like, it feels like a casual game, and I know you do. You clearly do, based on the messages that you send me. But it really, really feels like you don't care right now. Great save. Really dumb that Big Dickus left that. That was a great save. And wish Baxter's was going for the pass there, but he doesn't. But like, why are you up there, right? Like, you're smelling his bum, right? When you get up that close, hit the brakes, let him hit it and take his hit, right? Let him do his thing, be part of the play. If you had hit the brakes there, that's a beautiful setup for a shot for you. But now instead, you're getting this very, very awkward setup where you almost nearly beat them. But when you could have just had a boomer on net, which easily would have been the tying goal, right? If you didn't rush into that play. Good try on the tip. Love the double commit. As much as I wish you took that pass, and I'm sure you did too, they were all over each other. I think you made the right choice. Panicking, right? A huge quick jump that we don't need. He gets this touch, hit the brakes, quickly let the computer in your head work. Can you get there? No. Turn around. Can you? Great. Hit the brakes and double jump because your momentum carries you way past that ball. You're all over your teammate. You see that? Like, all over him. You're breaking my heart, Googly. One teammate over him. Second teammate over him. How pissed do you think Baxter's is right now, right? That these teammates keep hitting the ball away from him, and now you're all over him hitting him, and he doesn't know what to do, right? What's the point? You had 60 boost. You hit it. You had 60 boost. You're done. Boost. Stop boost. No more. Not allowed. We're good. Keep it. You had 40 when you realized. Keep it. You land with 0. Right? I'm being hard on you because I know you can do well. I saw your last replay. I know you can do very, very well. I'm going to keep being hard on you here. And again, you're all over your teammates. So that like, truthfully, man, it's just playing smart. You are so focused on playing fast that you steal balls from your teammates. You don't allow them to play their game. You don't even play your own game, right? Like, it really feels like it's your world and you're living in it kind of thing, and you're boosting to the next boost. That truthfully feels like what I'm watching, and I really encourage you to take the ball slow. So if I had to guess before we get into the calculated stuff, my guess is you probably had the least amount of dribbles, probably the least amount of shot distance, the least amount of touches. Like, that you are the most irrelevant statistical player in the game would be my guess. And that even though you were hands down the fastest player on the field, you did absolutely nothing with that speed because you didn't allow the game to play itself out. You were trying to play it faster than the game itself, right? So you really got to keep that in mind as you're working through. So let's pull up your calculated here. This is it. Let me just make sure you got Big Dickus. Perfect. So So Biggest Dickus had the lowest score. I think you had the most score on your team. You did, yeah. But like you can see, Baxter's had 4 shots. You didn't really have much. No assists because you didn't work together. You guys didn't work together at all. You had no saves. You were never on D. Sorry, is that your save? Yeah, it is your save. So you had 1 save. Sorry, on your. Oh yes, there's that one very, very pretty save. I remember. Ball hit forward, the least. Dribbles, yeah, the least. Passes, the least. Aerials, tied for the least. No flicks. So on the base stats, you were the least across the board in the game. Other than passes, I meant on your team, is how I was talking about that. Across the board, you were the least for these stats because you were purely rushing every single thing that you were trying to do. So if we look at, maybe we see play styles here. So you ready? Time at boost speed, significantly higher than the other team. You guys still lost because all 3 of you are just blazing through the game. No care in the world at what it is. Time at Supersonic, you and Biggest Dickus, hands down, looked like you were the ones taking away from Baxter's the most. So not surprised that both of you were disgustingly over average for it, right? Your time at slow speed, that's purely from when you were stationary is where that really filled up, right? You are either supersonic or not moving. A huge part. Possession, I can only assume you were quite low with high turnover. You got it. Several turnovers because all you would do is hit the ball to their team. There was never any intentional thought in it, and you need to break that down and start addressing that, right? There's no reason that you have 7 turnovers in a single game when realistically, I think you only touch the ball 10 times, right? So like you really got to keep that in mind with what you're doing there and start thinking about that a little more. Let's look at the heat map on your field positioning. My guess is that it's purely going to be pretty base, but I would assume I just probably skewed from you sitting in your own net for that little bit. It'll probably be higher in your net, but you were never really in front of their net. You were never really taking shots from good areas. You got it. So you had that hot spot in your own net, quite a bit on the sides, right? Because you were just living in these boost pads. You can really see the fact that some of your brightest areas is on boost pads tells me that you're just playing to the boost, right? You're not doing anything more. You look at Core, great defensive rotation. Fedorov, great defensive rotation. Jaika, great defensive rotation. 2 phenomenal corners for offensive rotation. You can see ball was in your corner for most of the game. You have basically no heat map. Biggest Dickus was just doing loops of your own end, and Baxter's was the only one playing steady D, right? So that's where you can really start to look at what is relevant for your gameplay and how you're supposed to be playing. And I really hope me being hard here is going to help show you what that looks like. This is massively important for your future in playing this game. You're a very fast and mechanically strong player, so I'm not surprised that you were in Champ 2 and steady. Your positioning and decision making is incredibly behind. It's really behind, and I need to challenge you to put more thought into it. We have a little more time, so let me quickly pull up your other calculated game, and we're not going to watch the replay, but I just want to see the game itself. You are the red. You guys won this one. Yeah, you won 2-1. You scored once. Had 2 saves. Nice. Looks pretty good across the board. Ball hit forward better. Dribbles much better. Much better. I'm excited to see your heat map this time around. I'm actually going to go right to it. You see that? There you go. Look at these rotations. Instantly better. The fact that you have a corner like this filled instead tells me that you're spending a lot of time both in front of their net and rotating. You see that? Like if you follow the mouse, you're actually working your way around. Again, I hate that these are 2 very lit up areas. These should not be. They should. You can see with most other players, it's not. The ball tends to obviously stay to the outfield, so it's just working its way around. But you can see the ball is very rarely near these boosts. So the fact that that's a higher area for you doesn't make any sense. And so you really got to keep that in mind. So big thing to know. So funny enough, I've given this a lot. What's it called? This advice recently. So for you, since decision making is truthfully like the only thing you need to work on right now, is I want you to play a game and So you play very fast with a little decision making. So watch another one of your replays and see how that looks, and start addressing. So remember the whiffed challenges, the double commits, and then also remember the ones where like you got a really nice dunk or you got something that you're like, oh man, like I destroyed that guy with my speed. Remember those. Next, play a game immediately following this. Play another game, and in this game, take your time with everything. Be slow, be smart, catch and dribble every single ball that comes your way. Don't do anything differently. Only focus on that kind of smart, very slow decision making. You'll probably lose the game because you are drastically behind the speed, and I want you to be drastically behind the speed of the game. Save the replay. Look at every single time that you gave yourself time. Like, look at when you were able to actually outsmart a different player because you took your time on a ball and were able to be smart about it. Finally, play one more game, and normally I'd say play it, quote, normally, but like I said, I think you play quite fast already, so slow yourself just down a little bit more. So just keep it on your mind, but play a pretty normal game, and save the replay and see only the challenges that won. So watch the whole game from your perspective. Any challenges that you won and did really well, remember those and note them. Don't even worry about the ones you lost, and then keep playing in that mentality for a little while. I guarantee you'll start to address a little quicker your decision making on things. But truthfully, Googly, the main thing and your main problem is that you're just so focused on speed that you don't play anywhere near as smart as I know you can. So you need to start focusing on playing slower and more intentionally, not throwing away the ball, not doing anything too crazy, and keeping that in mind. You can see right away when you have more field coverage at a steadier speed with better possession and better passing, you guys win games, right? You're more part of the play. You have more things on your list. So keep that in mind. That's where we'll leave this one for now. I hope this was helpful. Please, please, please ask me any questions you have. I promise I'll answer this time, and we can talk about it. But thanks so much for sharing these. This was awesome going through the calculated. I hope I showed you how you can address your own games moving forward as well, and look at those, and then we can go from there, okay? So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your support of the podcast. I've been Combo. Thank you so much. See you later.